Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyal and I'm delighted to be sitting with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, and we have a lot of exciting events that we'll be talking about in this week with Padma Shri Dr. Parikh. Namaste, Dr. Sahab. Welcome.
Namaskar, namaskar.
So, Dr. Sahab, how it makes you feel after the successful completion of 8 years of Prime Minister Modi's leadership, leading India and taking it to greater heights?
I think I personally am very proud of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first 8 years of Prime Ministership, because in one sentence I can say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the best thing happened to India as a Prime Minister, because he is very visionary, he has very decisive quality of the administration, and he implemented, or he knows how to implement whatever the good for people in different field, whether it's a finance, it's a subsidiary, or if it is economy, inviting the investors, foreign investors in India, making private like a private company, I mean a public company like Air India to the private, and catch hold of the and reduce the minimizing the corruption, overall corruption in the India. So I think he is one of the best Prime Minister, at least in my opinion, and obviously it's in the history of India.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sahab, you must be also aware, as many of us away from India used to feel after the visit of our Prime Minister, there was no interaction between the NRI community and the Prime Minister in general. It was, but now he has brought additional interest and inspired NRIs in different countries, and they are taking more active interest in India's growth.
Yes, of course, Prime Minister Modi has really galvanized and rekindled connection between the NRIs and non-resident Indians and the Mother India, because I think his vision is very clear that if you connect emotionally and intellectually our NRIs to Mother India, then it's a win-win situation, because all the NRIs will feel good about it, and Mother India will get maximum benefit out of it.
Yeah. And just looking at, if I use my way of expressing it, his openness in sharing the secret which helps him sustain his momentum in spite of a lot of criticism. Probably the practice of yoga has helped him, and he is the man behind popularizing it in the whole world, and we are on the threshold of June beginning, so we'll be celebrating International Day of Yoga. Talk to me about the significance of yoga for modern mind.
Well, I mean, yoga is, as you know, that it's a gift of the India to the world for many, many years, right? Thousands of years. And yoga is known in India for a long, long time. But it was not that popular in outside India or in the Western countries. And its benefits, its advantage, its therapy value, and all those things. And in the West, a lot of Westerner so-called yoga teacher, they were almost hijacked the yoga, quote-unquote yoga brand. And I think what Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi did is in 2014 or 15, he declared the International Yoga Day in United Nations, and that made yoga a worldwide thing. And they established the day. Always, whenever there is a good initiative, you have to pick the day and celebrate that day year after year. Then it becomes permanent in the people's mind, and people follow. And obviously, yoga has a lot of advantage. And one of the advantage, who does yoga, like you or like me or like any other people, or even Prime Minister, they make them very determined, very driven, very visionary, and very transparent. And that's what those qualities even Prime Minister Modi has, and that's why people like him.
Absolutely. I agree with you. It is always palpably sort of, one can feel even through visuals that people are so happy having him in their presence, as well as world leaders seems to find him someone who they can look up to, and that is visible in their body language. So
Right.
we are proud on that. And good news that has come with 8 years of completion of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the growth, economic. So India is GDP is growing at 8.7%. How that makes you feel? The news coming kind of 8 years and this 8.7%.
Well, it's a great news. 8% GDP after pandemic is excellent number, and by having that, in India's economy from 2 trillion to become 5 trillion, which Prime Minister wants to be soon, before its kind of expected target date, which is 2030. So, and obviously India is right now third largest economy in the world, and India has arrived in the world stage, and because of the largest economy, obviously largest democracy, and obviously largest youth in the country, I think India's value in the world stage has risen tremendously. And that's why we see all the time that world leaders always seeking Prime Minister's participation in the world forum, and his decision and his advice.
Absolutely, and it is very rare to think about any leader who would connect with students, with players, and would encourage them. And in that context, I was also listening to interview by chairman of Ram Mandir Nirman Samiti, and he said that in all the meetings he takes keen interest, Prime Minister Modi, and he asked him, is there anything that is preventing you from completion of this project on the scheduled time? And so that's one side of him. And now looking at 1st June as an auspicious day when the foundation laying ceremony of the Garbhagriha of a temple is happening at Ayodhya, and Chief Minister Yogi ji is reaching there, and there is a lot of excitement, as well as there are multiple projects of development keeping this temple as the center in Ayodhya. So how that makes you feel?
Well, I think temple construction and temple schedule is going on time, and as you know that under our Parikh media leadership, particularly my leadership, we collected water from the 12 different rivers in the tri-state area from the northeast, and we sent that water into the then that water was kind of blessed by 6 temples, including the 6 Hindu temples, and then we sent it to the Mr. Vijay Joli, who took it to the Ayodhya. And I think during this Sila ceremony, ceremony, that those water is going to be used as a part of the puja during that time. And I'm hoping that Ayodhya temple will be ready in 2024 or end of the 23, and it will become one of the greatest and site for tourists as well as all the Hindus for their astha, and we are looking forward to it.
And now moving towards a little bit worrisome side of life, where we find people one day they are not with us in physical form, and you being a physician as well as taking keen interest in the cultural aspect, so let me request you to share what you must have read this well-known singer KK was performing in Kolkata, and so he was 53, which we consider a younger age comparatively, and he had a heart attack. Now the scene tells us that he was active because he was singing, he did performances. So what is it that causes heart attack? Might be a long thing, but looking at this particular scenario, is it very unusual or it happens, and what can be done to prevent this?
No, it happens quite often. It happens quite often. This is called Is a heart attack is a kind of subsequent episode. I mean subsequent event, but initial event usually happens is arrhythmias. It means heart starts beating irregular, and because of that, usually they get heart attack, heart stops, and they die. Even in America also, a lot of people dies instantly because of the arrhythmias, and particularly those who have arrhythmias, they usually cannot do too much of physical strenuous activities. Usually their heart pumping capacity is much less than normal, and therefore I don't know his real health history, but this is quite possible, and even in USA or in any part of the world, if one of the arrhythmia called ventricular fibrillation, if it happens and if medical care doesn't occur within few minutes, patient can die. So it's not unusual. I don't see any other angle to that. And I think if they say that it's a heart attack, then it has to be heart attack was because of arrhythmias.
I see. So, of course, our condolence with the family members of the singer, and we are with Parikh Worldwide Media and ITV Gold with you express our prayers for the strength to the family members and his fans. There's another unfortunate thing that has happened, which has come from Punjab. There is political anger somewhere, but what I'm referring to is that we have lost a very promising Punjabi singer, Sidhu Musawala, and there were thousands of people who with love participated in his cremation, and that brings again the question about how law and order situation and the political leadership, they have some relationship, or they are independent, and is it blame game, or there is actually the new government of Aam Aadmi Party somewhere to be seen as responsible?
Well, I personally I do not know the whole story. So and now the whole subject is sub judice. So I don't think we can do too much of opinion about it. But it looks like, I mean, from on the surface, it looks like either it could be vendetta politics there, or it could be gang politics. Means there is a lot of drug infestation in the Punjab, and between two gangs, I think what they are blaming is someone who is a chief of another gang who is involved in all the sorts of illegal business. Who is not in India, who is in Australia or Canada somewhere. Either he is involved or some another gang master who is in the jail right now in Punjab, he is involved. So we don't know the exact story, but it's very unfortunate because this boy, young fellow singer, was very promising, very well liked, very popular, and we lost at untimely manner. So our heart goes out to him and his family. God bless him and God bless his family.
Yeah. So, Dr. Sahab, now as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, I think we have talked several times about Ukraine situation, and it will be touching nearly 100 days. How do you see? Is there any end in sight?
I don't think there is an end in sight in short time. It will drag on for another year or so. Because now it's become kind of war of kind of small thing, in a sense that Russia wants to capture certain part of the Ukraine and make themselves for business or come to the Black Sea very easy. So they are taking over east and south part of the Ukraine. And let's see, because they are not going to go to the capital Kyiv or any other big cities, because it's impossible. And now, the longer it drags on, I think Ukraine will be in better position to negotiate, because now Ukraine has even rockets and firearms which they can fire to in the Russian side. And if that happens, then Russia has to either decide how far they want to go, because they are also worried about that they don't want to go too far, because if they go by too far, then whole world will be more mad at them. So it will be going on, but at the end it will be a diplomatic solution to this whole problem.
So I think there are multiple questions, but I'll just touch one real quick, and that is a threat coming from Russia using its nuclear missiles against America. That kind of threat also one of the ministers made on one TV show, maybe.
No, I think that's kind of hyperbolic talk. I heard his foreign minister just recently, 2-3 days ago, and he was saying that no, we never said that we are going to use nuclear armaments, unless they have kind of written principle that unless Russian kind of countries is in danger by any other country, then they will use it. But in this war right now, the way it's going on, Ukraine cannot threaten the Russia right now, unless if war goes further between Russia and NATO, then it can happen. But I don't think any leaders will use the nuclear thing, because it can destroy both sides. And we know from what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, even one bomb created such a havoc. So I think any person in his right mind, any leader in his right mind will use that.
I hope what you're saying is true, and but I also hope that what you're saying, the other side that will drag on, may turn out to be differently. But as we conclude, your parting remarks for our viewers.
Well, dear friends, it's very proud and really privilege and pleasure to see that our country, motherland, India, is growing economically in spite of pandemic, almost above 8%. And that's a great, vibrant growth of the Indian economy. And our Prime Minister has completed 8 years, and he is a really very visionary, very thoughtful, and very great Prime Minister, and I would say best Prime Minister happened to India. And in 8 years, he has done so many things, which is a kind of reforming thing, like monetization, then subsidies to the poor people, then started healthcare system, which is same as Obamacare, where everyone who has a low income, they get up to 5 lakhs rupees free medical treatment. And now what I heard that for women's empowerment, I think they are going to do all the prenatal, natal means before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after pregnancy, all the care to families, those who are in the poverty, under poverty line, will get free. And that's a great women's empowerment by our government of India. So I think we have arrived at world stage. We are the world leader, and God bless India, God bless America, God bless our Prime Minister, and God bless Indian American in the USA and outside USA. So we'll see you next time. Till then, goodbye.